Hello students, today we will discuss about finding residues of functions at poles, particularly at poles, which is one type of isolated singularities. So what we have usually done to find residues of functions at an isolated singularities, we first usually would have expanded the function in terms of a Laurent series, expanded the function of Laurent in terms of Laurent series in an punctured disk at the point z0. Punctured disk means it is an open disk of some radius centered at z0, from which open disk center is deleted, and in that Laurent series of the function we used to find the coefficient of 1 by z minus z0, which gives the residue of the function at z equals to z0. Now here we will study brief theorem or brief technique how to find residues of function at pole z equals to z0. This theorem is saying that if an isolated singular point z0 of a function will be called a pole of order m if the function can be written in the form this: phi of z divided by z minus z0 whole to the power m, where phi of z is fully analytic and fully analytic at z0. There is no problem of this function phi being analytic at z0. At non-zero at z0 means phi of z0 not equals to 0. So if f of z can be represented as phi of z by z minus z0 whole to the power m, reversely we can say, if here power m is coming, reversely we can claim that z0 is a pole of order m. If it is here power m, then z0 will be called a pole of order m, will be identified as a pole of order m. So this is an if and only if condition. If z0 isolated singularity is represented as this: phi of z by z minus z0 whole to the power m. Power m represents pole of order m, and conversely, if it is a pole of order m, then it can be represented as in this structure: phi of z by z minus z0 whole to the power m, order of the pole. Moreover, it can be represented in these two forms. For m equals to 1, pole becomes simple pole. So for m equals to 1, for simple pole, residue of the function at z equals to z0 is simply phi of z0. And for higher order poles, means order 2 onward, residue of the function will be given by this: m minus 1th order derivative of phi at z0 by m minus 1 factorial. See here, these two forms can be accumulated and can be represented in together. If we write m greater equals to 1 here, m greater equals to 1, if this is also involved here, so put here m equals to 1, so 0th derivative of phi at z naught, means no derivative. So phi value at z naught divided by 1 minus 1, 0 factorial. So 0 factorial is 1. So for m equals to 1, this also is satisfying the residue. So as a whole, combining this and this, we can write this expression for if m greater equals to 1 simply. So moreover, this is giving the idea of finding the residue. Here it is written explicitly. So first we will see to prove from this to this, means first we will assume this structure of the function, and then we will prove it is z naught is a pole of order m. So assume f of z has that structure phi of z by z minus z naught whole to the power m, where in the assumption it is also there that phi of z is analytic at z naught and phi of z naught is non-zero complex number. So since phi of z naught is analytic at that point z naught, it will have a Taylor series expansion. Phi of z naught plus phi dash z naught by factorial 1 into z minus z naught plus phi double dash z naught by factorial 2 z minus z naught whole square, and m minus 1 derivative by n minus 1 factorial into z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 1, and plus after m terms to infinity, it will go on here. So this is the Taylor series expansion in this region, in this open circular disk of epsilon radius centered at z naught. So from here, if we divide both sides by z minus z naught whole to the power m, divide here by z minus z naught whole to the power m, we will get f of z, and correspondingly here right on the right hand side it will be divided by z minus z naught whole to the power m. Here it will be z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 1 whole to the power m minus 2, and here it will be whole to the power 1, and here it will be z minus z naught whole to the power n minus m. So see, negative powers, since m is positive integer. So starting from here, z minus z naught whole to the power 1, and the previous term in the previous term will be z minus z naught whole to the power 2 in the denominator, and so on. Then z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 2, z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 1, and here highest power will be there, z minus z naught whole to the power m. Highest power will be L whole to the power m, and here z minus z naught whole to the power n minus m, where n is greater equals to m. So here n is bigger than m, so this is also positive integer. So what we are getting, that we are getting a Lorentz series expansion, of which this is the principal part, starting from z minus z naught whole to the power 1 ending at z minus z naught whole to the power m. M is the highest positive integer occurring in this principal part. Okay, where phi of z naught is non-zero, and here m to infinity, this is behaving like am into z minus z naught whole to the power positive powers. So this is like an series an whole to the into z minus z naught whole to the power positive power, and plus this is like b1, this coefficient is b1 by z minus z naught, plus next previous term will be b2 plus into b2 divided by z minus z naught whole to the power 2, and this is possibly bm minus 2 by z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 2. This is bm minus 1 and this is bm divided by z minus z naught whole to the power m. So this is Taylor's this is a Lorentz series expansion of f of z in this punctured disk of epsilon radius at z naught point. This is the punctured disk. So this is the Taylor series expansion of phi of z in this open circular disk, and this is the Lorentz series expansion of f of z in this punctured disk. So because this bm, that is phi of z naught, already provided in the assumption that phi of z naught is non-zero. So as per the definition of pole of order m, remember the definition that if a pole of order m is there, so bm if not equals to 0, where it will be taking highest power, so z minus z naught whole to the power m will be counted as the order of the pole. So since phi of z naught is non-zero, it is a pole of order m of f of z naught. One part is finished here. Second part is finding the residue, which is the moreover part, finding the residue. So in order to find the residue, we have to find the coefficient of 1 by z minus z naught, which is this. So phi m minus 1 derivative at z naught by m minus 1 factorial, which was our desired result. So conversely, we have to prove that if z naught is a pole of order m of the function, then function can be represented in this form. If z naught is a pole of order m. So let us suppose that phi z naught is a pole of order n of the function, and therefore the function will have a Lorentz series expansion. This is summation 0 to infinity an z minus z naught whole to the power positive powers, and b1 by z minus z naught up to here bm by z minus z naught whole to the power m, since it is z naught is a pole of order m where bm not equals to 0, which is valid in this punctured disk on some radius. This is some arbitrary radius, means for finite real number. So we are constructing a function phi as this. When z not equals to z naught, we are defining like this: z minus z naught whole to the power m f of z, and when equals to z naught, it is matching with bm. So see here, when z equals to z naught, so phi of z naught equals to bm, which is already assumed as non-zero. Why assumed? Because z naught is a pole of order m, of which the coefficient must be non-zero. So this has a power series representation. In the book it is written. I will explain why it is written here. Let us multiply z minus z naught whole to the power m on both sides of this assumption. Z minus z naught whole to the power m. Multiply it here, which is equals to phi of z for z not equals to z naught. So z minus z naught whole to the power n plus m will come here. Z b1 into z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 1 will come here. b2 into z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 2 will come here, and so on. bm minus 1 whole to the power z minus z naught will come here, z minus z naught, and here simply bm will come. So phi of z naught equals to series an into z minus z naught whole to the power n plus m, b1 into z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 1. Here n plus m is coming. Here b1 into z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 1, b2 into z minus z naught whole to the power m minus 2, and here bm minus 1, z minus z naught, and here bm. So it is simply a power series in z minus z naught. Here z minus z naught whole to the power 0, z minus z naught whole to the power 1, whole to the power m minus 2 whole to the power m minus 1, and so on up to infinity. So it is a simply power series which is analytic, or you can say this power series is convergent to this analytic function phi of z, is analytic in that disk, and particularly at z naught, where phi of z naught is non-zero, bm. So everything is proved. Proof is complete. So phi of z, as we have defined, so f of z naught can be written as phi of z naught divided by z minus z naught whole to the power m. Here we come to the examples. Let us see the first example. F of z is given this, of which the function is having two singularities, 3i minus 3i, z equals to 3i and z equals to minus 3i. Let us first of all take the singular point z equals to 3i. Later we will take z equals to minus 3i also. So since this function can be defined, means z minus 3i, let us keep it here, and phi of z in the numerator, where phi of z is this, z plus 1 by z plus 3i. So because z plus 3i whole to the power 1 is here, remember with the structure of the function f of z equals to phi of z by z minus z naught whole to the power m. So in this example, as per our arrangement or construction arrangement, z minus 3i whole to the power 1 is present here. So this z equals to 3i will be, and we need to verify two things more. First of all, m equals to 1 here, power m equals to 1 here, and phi of z is analytic at z equals to 3i, which means clearly we can see this is having no problem being analytic at this point, and phi of 3i is non-zero. Put z equals to 3i, it will be non-zero. So verifying these two, and since here m equals to 1, power m equals to 1, we can say that m is a z naught, which is 3i, is a simple pole of the function. And as per the formula, let us revisit the formula. If m equals to 1, pole has order 1 or simple pole, in this case residue of the function will be simply given by phi of z naught. So residue of the function is simply given by phi of 3i, which is this complex number. Similarly, we can evaluate for z minus 3i. z minus 3i also we can evaluate like here f of z equals to phi of z by z plus 3i, where we will construct another function. Suppose phi 1z equals to z plus 1 by z minus 3i. So at z equals to minus 3i, we will investigate whether this function is analytic and whether this function having non-zero values. So then phi 1 of at minus 3i will be giving the residue of the function. Then next example, see here, the function is clearly failing to be analytic at z equals to I. So, and it is therefore it is z equals to I is an is a singular point first of all, and it is an isolated singular point also because deleted neighborhood of I, in that deleted neighborhood of I, f of z is completely analytic. So z equals to I is an isolated singularity, and due to here power 3, it will be a pole of order 3. And before that let us discuss about phi of z. Phi of z is can be constructed as this, where phi of z is entire, means analytic throughout the complex plane, and phi of I is non-zero. So we can conclude that this I is a pole of order 3 because m equals to 3, power 3 is here, and with the residue. So for power higher order, means power or order greater than 2, this is the rule: m minus 1th order derivative of phi at z naught by m minus 1 factorial. So m equals to 3, so double order derivative of phi at z naught by 2 factorial. So this will be the residue at z equals to I of the function f of z. Let us see the next example: log z whole cube by z square plus 1. So this function will be analytic, a function will be having two singular points, z equals to I and z equals to minus I. So let us discuss first the derivative, so how it will be isolated singular point, z equals to I or minus I, because clearly we can see that for example z equals to I, for z equals to I, an isolated deleted neighborhood, in a deleted neighborhood of I, z equals to I, the function will be completely analytic in a deleted neighborhood. Similarly, in a deleted neighborhood of z equals to minus I, also the function will be analytic. So those two singular points can be also called isolated singular points. And let us take a branch of log z, log r plus ln r plus I theta, where r is positive and theta is lying between these two angles. So branch cut is considered here as theta equals to 0, positive real axis, theta equals to 0. So considering this branch cut, we can discuss also here that it satisfies u and v, log u is log r and v is theta, satisfies Cauchy-Riemann equations in polar coordinates, and first order partial derivatives also are continuous. U r u theta, v r v theta are also continuous. So this log z function is analytic. This branch is analytic. So there is no problem of this function phi of z, which is constructed as this log z whole cube by z plus I. And so there is no problem with analytic of this function, and phi of I is non-zero. So because here z minus I whole to the power 1 is present, so we can decide that if z equals to I is a simple pole of f, and simple residue at the simple pole will be given by this phi of I. And the fourth example, we can simply also discuss that z minus 0 whole to the power 4 is here. So if we choose phi of z as sine hyperbolic z, so sine hyperbolic z is completely analytic. It is an entire function, and phi of 0 is also non-zero. So because z equals to 0 is an isolated singular point. So because z minus 0 whole to the power 4 present here, so m equals to 4. Z equals to 0 is a pole of order 4. So its residue will be residue at z equals to 0 will be phi third order derivative of phi. Since m equals to 4, phi residue will be phi third order derivative at z equals to 0 divided by factorial 3, which is given by this. Thank you.